Time for the Tesla and Palantir weekly update. And look what we have here for Tesla. Gonna zoom in, gonna use this log scale chart first. And this is the one that's exciting because the linear scale, it already broke that resistance. So right now we're gonna focus on log scale only for this chart, for the Fibs. And right now, from the all-time high down to that January 23 low, what do we see here? Well, price did in fact close above that 242.44 level again, and it was even approaching the 702, 272.79. So this is gonna be the goal to close above the following weeks, right? The following weeks or next week, whatever, close above it and head to the 306.93. That is the goal, right? That is a really achievable goal now. Because what just happened here? This was the highest. This was a huge 21.99% weekly candle. This was the highest weekly candle close since this one right here on September 11th, 2023. The highest weekly candle close in over a year. This is a huge deal. Also, this was a higher candle close than this wick right here. It wasn't a higher candle close than this wick, but it actually did close above this. So I guess you can consider this right here. Just draw a line from here to here. Like, we can kind of consider that a change of character, really, right? It did in fact just make a higher high. Just not including that wick from this candle right here, and that's never happened before, right? That's never happened before. So it got above this wick, and that wick is 265.13. So very powerful weekly candle close here, and I think continuation can be possible. So now we're going to take that off. We're going to put on the Ichimoku. We're going to put on the let's see, the SMAs here as well. You can see it just smashed through all of that. And that top of that cloud did hold, in fact, as a perfect support. And that baseline that is very upward sloping, that orange one right there, it was basically just the launching pad for this candle, right? Just launched straight up in the air, smashed through every single resistance it had below. So now we can consider 272.79 resistance, and we can also consider lots of support below. And if we go to the linear scale, actually, the support below would be that 258.15. Not sure if it's really going to go down there, but if it did, I think that would be a superb opportunity because we had a weekly candle close above it here, then a V bottom straight out of there. And so I think this 258.15 is going to be our support now on linear scale, making its way towards this 295 before that 300 number. So we're going to watch out for 295 because that is also a wick over here as well. So this is looking better and better for continuation. And as long as 258 holds, which I think it has a super strong possibility, this could be the beginning of something magical for Tesla finally. So let's go check out some other charts now. And next we got my linear scale GAN here for Tesla. And what do we see here? We see it almost getting to the top of my arc. And the last time it was at the top of this arc, it was right here back in April 4th of 2022. So this once again is getting closer and closer to that resistance. And where does that resistance meet next week? Right up there. Well, what do you know? It's right around 270, right? We'll just round up to 271-ish. So basically, this is really resistance, right? And we saw that on the 702 Fibonacci as well that I just showed you on the previous screen at 272. So we can see this zone is going to be resistance, but is it going to get rejected or is it going to have the possibility to flip it to a support? Well, we're going to use more confluence now of this 270 zone, and I'm going to go to this angles chart. I don't think I've shown you the angles chart in a while, so we're going to go check it out right here. And here's that angles chart that I've been talking about, where it has the downward sloping angles and the upward sloping angles, where this was also the launching pad for Tesla in the beginning. After it held that base to launch higher, V bottom through this blue angle where it was a previous resistance, flipped to support. And what do you see price at? Well, it's at this green angle for the first time ever sloping down, ever in history. It's never touched it, right? Never. So this is history in the making now with these downward sloping angles. And next week, where does that angle sit? Well, that sits around the same price, 269, 270. So there is a lot of confluence there that 270 to 272 is going to be some resistance. So this is going to be the goal to close weekly candles above next week and the weeks after. So if this can ever get flipped to a support, then it's go time, right? But if it keeps getting rejected, then possibly that 258 that I told you could get retested again before price really wants to go higher. But either way, I haven't seen a chart this, or I haven't seen Tesla this bullish in a very, very long time. And this huge bullish engulfing candle closing above all this highest weekly candle close in a long time. It's just incredible to watch, right? And the last thing I'm going to pull up for you guys is the log scale GAN right here. And the log scale GAN is just like a launching pad too. It looks like it wants to go higher. I want to show you the other one too right here. Yeah, this one right here. This is the one that I wanted to show you because what sits up here too is that 290 zone. So once it gets above 270, then we got a clear shot to 290 to 300, right? 290 to 300 is going to be the next target for Tesla. So it's just getting more and more bullish, guys, just more and more bullish, and just maybe some patience because maybe this 270 zone that I showed you right here, it might take some time to break through. But regardless, it hasn't been this bullish in a long time. So in my opinion, I would not fade this stock at all because it is just heating up. It is just the beginning of something super powerful, super amazing, and only good things to come. And next we got Palantir here, and we got the linear scale fibs pulled up, and this is basically all you need to see. Previous all-time high back in January of 2021, and the low right here of 23, and then price just took off straight line, almost vertically, and now it did wick above the 45 today, but it closed below. So is it really ready to explode higher yet? Maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't really matter because this trend is massive, and as long as it stays above 40.55, and it even went to back tested last week, this is probably going to smash through it sooner than later. So that is going to be the target. And once it does, it can get to 55, 61, 69, and those levels above. So it's just a waiting game. Nobody knows when it's ready to break through, but stick with the trend because the trend is your friend and it looks like it wants to go higher. And next I'm going to show you my log scale GAN here. And all that matters is this 40, or not, this is the 45, is this angle right here. That angle is what's super important. And before I get to it, just going to show you that also staying on top of this arc is important. So it's a breakout, also a back test of that arc. So as long as it stays in this vicinity, again, I don't care if it goes back down to 40 or wicks below, as long as it maintains this angle as a support, then what do you have? You have a $100 Palantir by September of 2025 up there. This is how that works, right? It follows the angle all the way up and then you got $100. So this is really, really possible as long as it just maintains that. So my focus is basically only holding this zone, maybe holding the arc, holding this angle. That's what I'm focused on. So it can do anything at once. And then eventually it will break into all-time highs and go much, much higher. So again, if you're trying to time when it's going to break out, nobody knows. But if you're looking at this chart, it's just a giant V recovery, and it looks like it's just a matter of time before it does break through all-time highs and get to the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s above.